It is Spain in red and blue. We get the match in Cape Town underway. And about 80,000 cameras flash. Spain versus Portugal. Xavi. Cross to Piqué. Everybody raves about Spain's passing abilities, their ability to retain possession, and this man is key to that. Sergio Busquets, one of the two youngest players in the squad. Piqué back inside for Xavi. He'll look for a movement ahead, slots it through to the far side to Capdevila eventually. Excellent movement. Portugal haven't had a touch on the ball, I don't think, yet. It'd be ironic if Spain scored before Portugal touched it, and Eduardo is forced into the evening's first save, and it got the crowd in Cape Town roaring right from the off. And it is Torres who shows he's in the mood for his first goal of this World Cup. Fine effort, and a flying Eduardo keeps it out with his fists. Scintillating start to the night. This is Bruno Alves. Bruno Alves, who does play for Porto. 50-50 ball here. And Sergio Ramos competing with Simão Sabrosa, to give him his full name. Piqué strolls forward and strokes the ball to Puyol. Busquets, whose father was an international, but he was a goalkeeper. Villa, who's been playing out on the wide position on the touchline, and then comes into great purpose. This is Coentrão. A bit of a surprise selection, it's just gone out. He was perhaps the most surprising selection, Fabio Coentrão. He's had a real breakthrough season with Benfica. Xabi Alonso. Xavi. Piqué, who 3 years ago was playing in the World Under-20 Championships in Canada. He was a big hit there. Villa again. We've seen him in this position so often in this World Cup already. It's poured away by the goalkeeper. Villa willing to try his luck. Second shot on goal already from Spain, but now all of a sudden the emphasis is to the other end, where the ball is knocked down by Puyol and grabbed by Casillas. Under the challenge of Hugo Almeida. Bright start to this match from both sides, differing tactics. Spain utilising their renowned passing game. Piqué, known as Pikenbauer these days. He's been likened to the wonderful Franz Beckenbauer in his style, and there can be no greater compliment than that. This is Iniesta. Villa on the outside. Iniesta coming infield, finding Xavi. Then Xabi Alonso. Iniesta probing dangerously as well. There has been a feeling that Spain have not really hit their best form as yet. When they do, it's frightening for the opposition, I can tell you. Just ask the French. Spain beat them in Paris for the first time in goodness knows how many years earlier this year, and France said they just couldn't get the ball off the opposition. It was terrifying for them. France, of course, long gone in this World Cup. Now here is Villa. Uses the pace, gets the corner, first of the night. David Villa, who would have been joint top scorer in these World Cup finals had he not missed a penalty against Honduras, against whom he'd already scored twice. Should have had a hat-trick. Xavi with the corner. The man they call Einstein in the papers here. It's a dangerous one. It's well caught by Eduardo, though. Good handling from the goalkeeper from Braga. And he's found Ronaldo. Well, he should have done, but the world's most expensive footballer allows it to go under his toe end. Right in front of Del Bosque. Xavi Hernandez. Wide is Torres. Takes it on the chest. The Liverpool striker, formerly Atletico Madrid, of course. Tries to go one way around the defender, tickle the ball the other. And the referee is having none of that. Senor Baldassi, the referee from Argentina. An inkling there that Torres may be a little sharper tonight, I think. Most of his touches in the previous games have been mite heavy. Most un-Torres-like. That was a little skirmish which didn't impress the referee. And Quantro came out of it without any free kick against it, penalty or anything. Quite right, sir. Villa will not be dispossessed, so it's Xabi Alonso and then Xavi. This is danger. It's into the wide position again. Spain always dangerous, and the save is made from Villa. He's really in the mood, David Villa. All his goals seem to have a trademark about them. He cuts in from the wing, he drifts beyond a couple of defenders, he lashes the shot. Sometimes they go in the net, sometimes the keepers have to make a save. Rarely does he miss the target. Now Gerard Piqué. Towards Ramos, good interception from Quantro. And Quantro will hair down the touchline. He'll be confronted by Piqué. He's got good footwork, the left full-back. He's made an enterprising start to his beginning, the former Real Zaragoza player. That was the shot from Villa, which brought an instant reaction and a good reaction from Eduardo. Portugal's first corner of this evening, for which they have the predictable quintet in the 18-yard box. Is anybody going to be good in the air for Portugal? No, but it's got out of a Spanish head again. Consecutive corners. Yeah, maybe it was Capdevila. But a corner for Portugal, their second already, taken by Raul Morales. Empathy between official and player. And this time Portugal have 4 in the penalty area and 3 more on the edge of it, so they've got some ambition here, all right. And here will be a shot which comes back off an ankle awkwardly for Spain. They're not out of the woods just yet, that's for sure. Or even now. But the whistle has sounded and Casillas takes a sharp free kick. The place is humming, I can tell you. Everybody's up for this one, and Portugal, oh, so close. A touch away there. Hugo Almeida plays his club football in Germany these days at Werder Bremen. The flag had been raised there long before Ronaldo went on the leap with Ramos. Reasonably bright and open start to the match. Strange that Portugal have figured in goalless draws against Côte d'Ivoire and against Brazil. Those looked 2 goals that might be laden with goals. 2 games that might have been laden with goals. It's Portugal on the attack again here. Clever pass as well. Should get to it for the pullback. And meeting the pullback is goalkeeper Casillas, with Puyol running over the ball. Good response from Portugal, though, to a bright Spanish start, and that will be, well, it looked like a trip actually on Sergio Ramos, and the referee says get up, there was no foul. Not clipped in the opinion of the referee by Pepe. Now it's Ronaldo. First time cross in, flashes through the 6-yard box. But they are sharp, they're lively, they're looking for Hugo Almeida in that penalty area. It wasn't far away from him. Bit of cut and thrust about the match as we come towards 10 minutes gone and no goals on the board. Iniesta. Again, Busquets, who was a scorer in South Africa last summer during the Confederations Cup final. This is Iniesta. And that's one of the poorer passes we've seen from the Spanish, who've not been to Cape Town before, unlike Portugal, who got those 7 goals against the Koreans. I understand they even switched the television sets off in Korea at half-time in that game. They're not too happy with the events of the opening 45 minutes. No breakthrough in this game as yet. Spain were unbeaten in qualifying for the 4th time in a row. They won incredibly all their 10 matches. And they've not lost in 45 European qualifying games. So that shows you the pedigree of the Spanish, as if you didn't know. Just a few vuvuzelas sounding off at the moment. It's a bad ball from Busquets, but he was fouled in the opinion of the referee by Thiago. Iniesta ahead of him, Torres, who turns and manages to retain the possession. He'll have company on behind him from Sergio Ramos, and he has a corner, 2 apiece now. But Torres, for me, is definitely looking sharper than he has in the last 2 fixtures. He'll try for goal here. That's how much sharper he is. He swung on it languidly, and the ball nipped over the crossbar by no more than a foot. Here it is. Look at that. It just loops over the top. And the goalkeeper, Eduardo, would have been furious if he'd been caught out there. He could have been. The lights on in the mother city of Cape Town. We can't restart the game because there's another ball on the pitch. Now we do, with Bruno Alves. Ricardo Carvalho, still with Chelsea. They're rather keen to rejoin Jose Mourinho, I fancy, at Real Madrid after Mourinho's summer switch from Inter Milan. That will surely be too long. Far too long from Ricardo Costa. Puyol. He's had such a wonderful career with Barcelona. Now Portugal with a chance to build about 30 yards out until Sergio Ramos comes back, and let's see how many passes the Spanish can put together here. It's usually into double figures. Piqué into the wider position for Villa, and suddenly 4 red shirts move together in unison, moving forward ominously. Back to Capdevila, allowed to run through the legs by Xavi to Busquets. Wider is Iniesta. This is interesting. Iniesta may seek to go on the outside. He doesn't. He fools everybody, including me. On the outside is Sergio Ramos, who'll curl one in here dangerously. Just too far, however, beyond Costa, the fullback, and more importantly, beyond David Villa. Sergio Ramos, such a talented fullback. It would be a toss-up whether he or Philippe Lahm perhaps had been the most impressive fullback in the tournament so far. Vicente Del Bosque there, who's got a terrific record, having taken over from Luis Aragonés after the European Championship victory 2 years ago today, when Spain beat Germany 1-0 in Vienna, a goal by Fernando Torres. But just because you're European champions, it doesn't necessarily mean you will go on to become world champions. A couple of teams called Argentina and Brazil will be trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Well read by Ramos. He'll continue his lope forward. Piqué. Then Busquets. Xavi to Xavi Alonso. Ramos. Xavi Alonso's the one normally who hits the longer passes, the raking balls, but this time it's a shorter one to Piqué. Iniesta's doing Xavi's job here, going back into the centre circle. So he's the one who prompts with a pass through, which just missed out. Xavi Alonso made altered roles. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't get anywhere. He's surrounded by red shirts as soon as he gets on the ball. Here he is now, and he's got a little bit of room with which to work. And was he clipped there? No, the referee again, he's been consistent, this ref, I have to say. It's the second or third time he's just told somebody to get on with the game and that there was no free kick. Merels. Wider for Fabio Contrao, and this time the whistle will sound, and that is a free kick to Portugal. Midway inside Spanish territory. Ramos the offender. Aided and abetted by Puyol. So the free kick is for Portugal. There's an element of danger here to the Spanish net with Simão to take this. Ronaldo then comes over and well, he may well be overruling his colleague. It is Ronaldo. It's a poor one. It's a poor free kick straight at the goalkeeper. Away goes Spain very quickly with Torres showing his pace. Villa will be one-on-one here. Bruno Alvarez. Plenty of pace about the game, but not a great deal of goalmouth activity after those two early David Villa shots. Piqué for and Busquets. That's twice Busquets has given the ball away uncharacteristically. He's a chance to redeem himself here with a shorter ball. And again Busquets. Poor touch on it from Xavi Alonso. It's good job he's strong. He came out with the ball ultimately. The feeling persists that Spain aren't quite firing on all cylinders at the moment. Iniesta. And Villa. And there's a typical example of the way their passing is breaking down rather too easily. Del Bosque showed his frustration in the previous game against the Chileans on the touchline with one or two exasperated puffs on the cheek. Nothing wrong with any of the playing surfaces. Sergio Ramos may be forward here. He's been unlucky not to score in this World Cup. He's touched it forward. It is Torres. The ball is through the 18-yard area and should be cleared without any undue alarm. Villa finds himself back defending against Ricardo Costa. Xavi. Torres in the wider position. It is Torres. Which way will he go? Well, neither way in the end. Almost presented the ball to Cointreau. Certainly lost his way in the Portuguese maze there. It's a reasonably fine night now in Cape Town, but it's been a quite horrible day to be honest. It's been pitch black all day, and it's been raining heavily, but not at the moment. Although the Portuguese, of course, won that 7-0 scoreline against the Koreans in an absolute deluge. Coming up to 20 minutes played, Spain 0, Portugal 0. Cointreau's made a brilliant break here, and he continues running. Portugal a big chance for them, and the shot is beaten away by Casillas. Surely, no, he gets his fingers on the ball twice there, does Casillas. First of all, to keep out the effort from Thiago, and then under the second challenge he did his job as well. Good goalkeeping from the man they call Sant Ica. Here was a big gap though for Portugal to exploit. He thrust up his hands and then kept it away very bravely as striker Hugo Almeida came in on it. That's how close it was. Looks like Popeye the Sailor Man when he does that. Without the pipe. 20 minutes played. Fernando Torres again doesn't find a way through. But that was the clearest opening that's been created by either side, really. There was plenty of room for Thiago to fire in the shot at Casillas, and the goalkeeper and captain of Spain responded admirably to keep it at 0-0. There is Carlos Queiroz, 57 now. Unlucky when he led South Africa to the World Cup qualification period in 2002, but then left before the finals. He has worked for Real Madrid and Manchester United. And this Portuguese side, so obdurate, they have still not conceded a single goal in coming up to 300 minutes of football here in South Africa. The onus is on Spain to break them down. Puyol meets this one. Busquets. Xabi Alonso, and there is a free kick here for Portugal eventually. I think the referee tried to play an advantage for the Portuguese then, and when there was none for the challenge on Simão, he then blew the whistle, and Portugal have this free kick. There have only been half a dozen fouls in the opening 22 and a half minutes, so we're exactly halfway through this opening half in Cape Town. It's intriguing though that Ronaldo's shot will brush all the way through the green sward that is the Spanish penalty area without getting a touch from anybody. A weak effort for a man who scored 33 goals in his first season in Spanish football last year, Cristiano Ronaldo. Piqué to Puyol to Capdevila. Now Xabi Alonso pots the ball almost snooker fashion out to the right side to Ramos. Full of pace, full of running. Iniesta could have gone for the shot there. Andres Iniesta chose to keep the move going with a pinpoint pass, but nobody in red on the end of it. As always, the first goal of this encounter will be crucial. Iniesta shows the ball to the opponent, Morels, and then gets away from him. Spain will have the free kick. Iniesta, the best player in the world, according to Wayne Rooney, who is now back in England after that country's demise against the Germans. Germany-Argentina, the next match to be played here in Cape Town on Saturday. So two absolute crackers for the people who live in the shadow of Table Mountain to enjoy. Here is a Spanish free kick in a position of imminent danger to the Portuguese. Piqué and Ramos will try and meet it, but it's Ricardo Carvalho's head that steers it to safety. They've given it away to Villa. Xabi Alonso can hit them, chooses not to do so though. Instead it's Xavi. Spain playing these little triangles, probing for an opening. Villa to Xavi, he's continued his run and just a toe poke away from being in on goal. It got away from him. Shame he cut his toenails this morning. Lovely movement, and I think he would have been onside. Yeah, he was well onside, David Villa. Planned move that nearly worked to perfection, not quite. 25 minutes gone, Spain 0, Portugal 0. Been a rather lonely night up front for that man so far. Hugo Almeida, known as the Joker. He's often brought on as a wild card substitute, but tonight he starts. Xavi. Piqué will lope into the opposition half. Decides not to play it out to Sergio Ramos. Instead he goes the other way to the ever-menacing David Villa. Xavi. Iniesta. Well, Portugal wrestle their way out of that situation. But, the ref eventually blew the whistle. Free kick, and Portugal forward with Simão. There's been some really good interplay between the Portuguese left-sided players, especially the fullback Quintero. It's the first time I've seen him, and he's very impressive, and they've got a free kick here. Quintero still preferred in the starting lineup to the Chelsea man Paulo Ferreira. He's had an injury-ravaged season in England. So Ronaldo and Simão, the two most experienced men in this Portuguese side, will have to do it all again. The referee hasn't blown the whistle. And that's something you've got to wait for in football. You can't take a free kick until the referee says you can take it. Portugal have not beaten Spain since the 2004 European Championships. Yet strangely, they've lost only one of their last 10 games against Spain since 1958. Incredible, 52 years ago. Now then, Ronaldo can hit them. Anybody around the world who knows anything about football will tell you that. And Cristiano Ronaldo stands, prepares, shoots. Oh, keeper has dropped it. Casillas, a rare lapse. Is that this funny ball that the goalkeepers talk about? Nobody has been more critical about the Jabulani ball in the build-up to these World Cup finals than Iker Casillas. He called it a beach ball. Well, he didn't handle that particularly comfortably, did he? The free kick from Ronaldo. The strike was on the target from Cristiano Ronaldo, seeking his second goal of this World Cup. It did bend in flight. You could see that on that slow motion replay. It bent and moved around all over the place. Well, Casillas will be really perturbed about that. Probably a good job we can't see replays. It did everything in flight. Iniesta gets a second nibble at the ball. Ramos. Iniesta, not want to go for long-range shooting. Capdevila onto Villa as opposed to Villa. And it's Villa's ball across. Lands on top of the net. There's a bit of a roar around the stadium. I think some people thought that had got in. It hadn't. It doesn't get beneath the bar, and it doesn't get inside the uprights. Decent try from David Villa, though. Goes down as a shot on goal. And the applause led by Fernando Torres. Queiroz urges his men on to greater deeds, with coming up to half an hour played in Cape Town. But no breakthrough made by either Spain or Portugal in this Iberian battle, which now features Ricardo Costa. He plays in Lille in France. He's been there on loan from Wolfsburg, the German side, but he's about to go to Spain, to Valencia, is Ricardo Costa. Already signed for the coming season. This is Ronaldo. I think he'll be at Real Madrid. Hugo Almeida straight against Sergio Ramos. So the World Cup hasn't seen a goal today. There's plenty of time. An hour remaining here in Greenpoint Stadium, with the Quintero with the throw. 4 red shirts around there, so Hugo Almeida had very little hope of moving forward. Ricardo Carvalho for Portugal. They have this curious record here of having scored 7 goals and conceded none, and yet they all came in the one match. There hasn't been a goal in any of the other 3 fixtures in which they've played against Côte d'Ivoire, Brazil or here Spain. Torres is wide, takes the rebound off Cointreau, feeds Xabi Alonso. Digs in well, it will lead to a Xavi shot, which bends wide. Spain are dominating the possession again, 60% of the ball they have had. The net they have yet to find. Well, he's a competitive man, is Xabi Alonso. Fair man. Digs in to win the ball. And the eyes are wide open, but the net isn't. Puyol's header. Portugal, of course, finished second in Group G behind Brazil, but ahead of Côte d'Ivoire, whereas the Spanish were top of Group G, beating Honduras and Chile to make it here. Torres will make the run, but unavailing. Ricardo Carvalho, 32 now. Morels. Well, both sides still probing, still feeling one another out. And they're both going to have to work even harder to find a way through. 2 watertight defences so far. There have been 1 or 2 alarms. Casillas palming that shot up in the air a few minutes ago. Villa having a couple of very early efforts. But it's going to take something special to make a breakthrough in this match, you feel. Villa will try again in this normal way of his. They'll pass and pass and pass until the opening does present itself. And then the Xabi Alonso shot comes back off a shin. Busquets playing at centre-half at the moment. Xavi. It's intriguing rather than absorbing. Every pass to every man is closed down by a marker. More or less what we expected. Only a goal will change the pattern of this game. When one side or the other has to come out a little bit more adventurously. Piqué. There have been so many draws between these nations when they've met. You can understand it, can't you, when you watch it like this? It's a war of attrition. There may be a lapse there to allow Iniesta the chance to set up somebody. Xavi's little ball that's intended for Villa didn't get to him. Instead it's out to Xabi Alonso, and he puts it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, and Eduardo's throw gets Cristiano Ronaldo moving for the first time down the left flank, and he run directly into Busquets. And he's getting nothing from the referee, who's of the opinion that Ronaldo was sort of working for that. It was his intention to run into the defender. Now then it is towards Torres, he won't get to it. Ronaldo is still standing, hands on hips, as if to say, why was that not a free kick? Right, you have to play to the whistle. Spain haven't actually won a match in this particular round of the World Cup since 1994. USA 94, they beat Switzerland 3-0 in Washington. Their World Cup record over the years hasn't been great. They've been known as the underachievers. 4th in 1950, and nothing really since. A country that should have won the World Cup, really, given their pedigree. The Portuguese, of course, did finish fourth 4 years ago in Germany. They lost in the battle for third place to the Germans. Xabi Alonso now. Piqué. Sergio Ramos. He's a buccaneering fullback who usually does go for goal when he gets the chance. Instead he lays it off for Iniesta, and another move peters out disappointingly for Spain, who already have the ball back. I'm surprised Ramos hasn't tried to take Quanto on the outside. He seems to have gone inside onto his left foot every single time. Now it's Villa, opens up for him a little bit. In here with Xavi, back to Xabi Alonso. And it's Carvalho who gets the body on the line this time. And that will be a free kick against Puyol, right on the halfway line. The layoff to Xabi Alonso was good, it was well intended, but Carvalho got the block in. Portugal defending expertly against anything their neighbours can throw at them. Piqué's cut out. Back by Raul Morales, another of the Porto contingent in this Portuguese national side. Eduardo hasn't seen much action in terms of having to make saves anyway. And there's a collision here. I think Almeida's up okay. It's Puyol who stays down. It's not often he's on the deck. He's a tough cookie, as they say, is Carlos Puyol. Caught in the side, on the hip really, I think, there by the opponent. Spanish substitutes, including Cesc Fabregas there. Google waiting their turn. I'd be surprised if Fabregas doesn't get a run out at some stage. He's just as likely to open up the opposition with one of those penetrating runs as anybody. There were just 7 and a bit minutes remaining in this opening half in Cape Town. It's stalemate. We could end up with our second penalty shootout of the day. Paraguay knocking out Japan by that route earlier. Xabi Alonso gives it away. Hugo Almeida. Simao. Morales with the cross. It's a good one as well. And it should have produced a goal for Portugal. But in flinging himself at the ball, Hugo Almeida directs it wide of the net. Morales' cross was perfect here for a centre-forward coming in on it. And he just found the angle of delivery, I think, too awkward. Going up with Capdevila. Ronaldo was in there too, but it's put wide by Almeida. Ronaldo was coming in behind Hugo Almeida. A scare for Spain. Remember, they lost to Switzerland in their first outing here in South Africa. They've since recovered to win consecutive games against Honduras and Chile, scoring 4 goals in the process, 3 of them from David Villa, 1 from Andres Iniesta. Piqué is the one who gives the ball away this time, and it is Ronaldo. Nudged across to Fabio Quantrao. Piqué too strong for Simao. They work. Oh, that's another free kick. All of a sudden we've had a few. Iniesta hustled immediately, didn't have a second on the ball there. Coentrão, well tackled by Busquets, and he's taken a knock, and the referee's going to halt play because Sergio Busquets has gone down. In fact, it's Xavi Alonso. I was looking at Busquets when I should have been looking at Xavi Alonso, and it's he certainly who takes the bang here from Coentrão. He's been in the wars a bit as Xavi Alonso in the last couple of matches. That sprained ankle sustained in the match against the Chileans. He's up and okay. And we're only 5 minutes away from a break, with no sign of a breakthrough. Piqué now. Xavi. Well, at the moment it's hard to see where that break is going to come from, so I think Messrs Del Bosque and Queiroz need to take their teams into the dressing rooms for a little chat. Well, Brazil scored from a corner last night with a thumping header from Juan. That was against Chile. Maybe Spain can do it route one here with Puyol coming up. Xavi to take the corner kick. Iniesta's short behind him, but he lofts it in high. And Puyol was there, but it's dropped very safely from the head of Ramos in the end. And it's Portugal who break here, and you see Casillas will be off the line just in time. Simão on the break, foiled by the Spanish captain. Morels. 3 minutes to half time. Portugal playing some fluent football, instigated by Pepe. And then the chip across in here. It nearly got to Cristiano Ronaldo. Instead it is Coentrão who lifts the ball in. And they've got another header in, and again it's wide. Well, they've created some chances for themselves in the last few moments, and this was Thiago who got 2 of those 7 against Korea. Coming up, but sort of facing in the wrong direction. Headed it straight down and wide. And that was where Simão had a break until Casillas stepped across. This one is going to take some sorting out. 1 goal may just be sufficient tonight, if there is to be 1 goal. It would be a heartbreaking way for a side of this calibre to go out on penalties, but you can see it happening, to be honest. Portugal, though, step forward optimistically, and the ball in is not good. He's offside. The options on the bench for Portugal include Deco, the much decorated footballer, who's going to retire internationally after these World Cup finals, and strikers Liedson and Dani. No Duda tonight, he's injured. Villa gets beyond 1, but not beyond Ricardo Carvalho. 90 seconds left in the opening half in Cape Town. It's as even as can be. Portugal have probably had the better chances now, and it will be Piqué. And yet again we see a Spanish player just thumping the ball into the back of the opponent, on this occasion Pepe, the Real Madrid man. And I think Del Bosque and Queiroz know that they're going to have to put some words of wisdom together in the dressing room. Little added time, I would have imagined, as Xavi dances through the centre circle. Doesn't find Torres. And away come the Portuguese. Pepe with a chance to turn. But very little chance for anybody to get a goal now in the remaining 20 seconds of this half. There's maybe an extra minute of added time, except there's a mistake here to let Iniesta in for Torres. Beaten away very sharply indeed. Good defending once again. As soon as anybody makes a mistake, others come back to cover. And Ricardo Carvalho's had an outstanding opening half against Fernando Torres. There will be a minute of added time. It is Busquets. This has to be the last chance of the half as Villa gives second best to the tackler. Iniesta breaks free of the shackles of two Portuguese midfielders. But it is going to be scoreless at the break. And Portugal are continuing this marvellous record they have of not having conceded a goal in these World Cup finals of 2010. Sergio Ramos. We've had 46 minutes. And we'll have no more. It is 0-0 at the break in Cape Town, and that's a justifiable score. Ricardo Carvalho's been outstanding in curbing Torres and the rest. And some of the better attacking moments have featured the Portuguese, who've had a couple of headed opportunities they've not been able